What do you think about the festival's main topic, folk horror?
Yeah, it's one of our themes.
Yeah.
Because we are the co-founder of MUFANT, the Museum of Fantasy and Science Fiction of Turin, and the museum brings together Gothic horror with fantasy, with science fiction. Because Gothic horror, the Fantaelx theme of this year, is one of our continuously interest.
Yes, and also, obviously, we work with popular imagination as a science fiction museum. And so, we can say that pop is a new version of folk for some aspects. In science fiction, for example, and also Gothic, was born in a precise moment. For example, in the first place you can find in our museum, the first area describe a precise year, the 1816, when a wild bunch of English people went in Switzerland, and in this house, in this beautiful house, they start to play a competition they was all riders, and a competition into writing a horror story, a Gothic story, or science fiction stories. And so in 1816 was born Mary Shelley made Frankenstein, and Polidori.
William Polidori made The Vampire, the
first novel. Because this is the
with a vampire.
And this is the
as the protagonist.
This is the jump from folklore, because until 1816 and before the novel from Polidori, The Vampire, all the stories about vampires in Europe arrived from folklore, arrived from the countries, arrived from the country house of contadini, of workers in the, which is contadini?
Agriculture.
Agriculture, culture.
Yeah.
So vampires arrive from this area. Sorry.
No, it's okay. After Mary Shelley and Frankenstein, all this becomes very popular and changed, you say? Because before that time, particularly vampire stories was folklore, just oral stories in the countries that do not exist stories of vampire as novels. So Polidori first wrote it in 1860s, was the first, and then we know better. We have to wait 50 years before the Iron. Quello che ha scritto, we have to wait 40 or 50 years before Carmilla arrives, which is the story of vampires, again a novel, and we have to wait 80 years until 1970s before to arrive Dracula, written by Bram Stoker. And so obviously we are during the 19th century, there was the jump between folklore in Gothic and then in science fiction through Frankenstein. What made this era particularly golden for the genre?
Because for different reasons. The first one is that it is there are strong political exchanges in television managing. So an important moment is that the managing of television changes its direction from the government which was a bit conservative government, was Democrazia Cristiana, the main political Italian, and passed to the parliament. And the parliament, so different political forces decide that every political force must have its representatives in television. And so in the 70s, TVs became much democratic. And so the production, also this kind of production, becomes much innovative. And for example, until the 60s, science fiction and Gothic production was the idea was that would be made a kind of production with soft power, soft, not so revolutionary, not so. So science fiction production was production for young people, for children or boys and girls, and in this
in the 70s became adult, and for adult audience. Okay, and why we speak about a golden age of Rai TV fanta-thriller dramas, because of some dramas like Gamma, A come Andromeda, ESP was for the high quality of the acting, of the scripting, of the directing. The high quality is now still unsurpassed. It was a very good era for the thriller on the public television, the 70s.
Yeah, and in the 80s, Rai lose some power because arrives private TVs.
Yeah.
So they product
the private television.
New competitors, more products, and less quality everywhere, also in Rai during the 80s.
But these TV dramas was the grandfathers or the grandmothers of the contemporary TV series.
Do you see any parallels between the speculative ideas in this year Italian dramas and current TV? Well, you know.
The versifier, the versificatore, the prodigious machine capable of writing prose and poetry, imaged by Primo Levi in one of his best science fiction stories. The versifier is a sort of anticipation of ChatGPT, okay? Because the protagonist simply press simple buttons, choosing the register, the styles of the text. Versifier did his hard work. A sort of ChatGPT, an antecedent of artificial intelligence that we have now.
Okay, thanks for
Thank you.